Please welcome our very own Dr. Jim. Get your brains ready because you're about to learn what the EEE can do for you.
Thank you. Mr. Evaluator, sir, how long will my speech be today? I apologize.
5 to 7 minutes.
5 to 7 minutes.
5 to 7 minutes. Excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate that clarification. Sometimes things get changed on my speech. Can we talk for a brief moment about your career? How's it going? Are you where you'd like to be in your career? Do you feel that there's change ahead of you? Would you like to be farther along in your career than you are right now? I think we'd all say that. Yeah, probably. Well, what's it going to take to move you forward? I've got a suggestion. Weight loss. Is there a possibility that if you lost some weight, your career might advance? Let's just play with that one for a brief moment. And I don't mean anything disparaging by this, but let's just think about it. Just a few pounds. We're not talking an awful lot. So if it was something that was important to your career advancement, weight loss, what would you do about it? Would you say, not going to happen? Not that big of a deal? I understand what? There's more authority, more responsibility, and probably more money associated with me becoming a little bit more slender, so I'm not even going to bother with it? Or would that be the kind of motivation that you need to go out and maybe make some changes in your lifestyle? Change what you eat, perhaps? Maybe pick up a gym membership? I think we can all probably agree that if there was a big enough carrot that was presented to us to lose a few pounds to move ahead in our career, we would probably do it. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a terribly polite thing to say, I'll tell you that much. But we would certainly do it. Well, good news! To the best of my knowledge, your weight has nothing to do with your career. Is that like a burden just coming right off the shoulders? I say yes. However, is it possible that there could be some other skill set, some other technique that you really need to have to move your career to that next level? I believe the answer is yes. I think the answer, surprise, oh my group of Toastmasters, is public speaking. Right? I think the ability to talk to a single individual, to have a good conversation with that individual, perhaps to pass on requirements or commands or direction, is a fantastic skill to have. And I would argue that most of us, assuming we're not sociopaths, probably do have that skill set. But the value that you bring to the company that you work for is diminished if that's the only skill you have, talking one-on-one. The real value is if you can talk to a group of people and communicate an important idea to them, to bring them together, to get them to focus on a goal, to get them to say, yes, I agree with what you're talking about. I'm going to now go take action to implement whatever that thing was that you were talking about. That's an incredible power. And we've all seen that. Hitler, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, famous people had the ability to whip up a crowd, get them excited, and get them pointed in a direction, and then they actually took action based on what these people told them to do. Just think if you had some portion, some part of that skill set. Think about what an effective employee you would be, and think about how valuable your employer would view you as being. Well, clearly, that seems like a skill that we'd all like to add to our box of tools. But the question is, how? You can go home, you can stand in front of a mirror in your bathroom, and you can give the best speech that's ever been heard. The words would just flow out of you. Your body language would be fantastic. Your facial expressions would tell a story unto themselves. That would be fantastic, but nobody would ever see it. And did you do a good job? I mean, you're the person watching yourself in the mirror, right? 2 thumbs up from you. Fantastic. That's wonderful. That's great. But you'll never know what the real answer is. So you can practice speaking by yourself, but it's not going to get you to where you want to be. You need to practice your speaking in front of others. You need to get other people to listen to your speech and then give you feedback. The good news is if you have a few dollars in your pocket, you can probably pay people to come to a room and listen to you give a speech. Depending on how good of a speaker you are, this may actually be somewhat expensive. Now, will they give you honest feedback? Well, if you're paying them enough, yes. Okay? If you're not paying them very much, they're going to doze off and play with their iPhones while you do it. But good news, you could pay people to do that. Okay? Once again, this is going to help you develop your speaking ability, but man, sure seems like it's a tough way to go, doesn't it? There's got to be a better way to do this. And it turns out, surprise, surprise, there is. There's an organization called Toastmasters that's been around since
1924.
1924. Now, once again, if it's been around since 1924, clearly it's doing something right. Correct? All right, Toastmasters is all about setting up a social environment. They're set up as clubs. They're Toastmaster clubs. So you come to the club, you come to this situation where you have a group of people who know you and whom you know. It gives you a chance to practice your public speaking. Forget about the bathroom, forget about the mirror, forget about giving the best speech that nobody has ever or would ever hear, and instead think about giving a speech in front of a group of your friends and getting honest and immediate feedback from that group of friends. What value would that have for you? I think the Visa guys said it best, right? It's priceless. So this is something that is available to you. It's available to you today, and even better, because of the popularity of Toastmasters, it's available literally everywhere in the world. No matter where you live, there has got to be a Toastmasters club somewhere around where you're at. And in fact, there's probably multiple clubs. So, back to your career. If you want to move your career to the next level, the responsibility is yours. I wish I could tell you there's a magic career fairy that shows up and hits you over the head with a wand every time it's time to move on. It doesn't happen that way. It's your responsibility to prepare yourself for the next stage in your career. Okay? Hey, if you want to shed a few pounds, go for it. Don't think it's really going to have a big impact. You want to learn how to speak in public? Fantastic. I think that's the type of skill that you need to make it to the next level, and I've got some great news for you. Toastmasters is there to help you do it.
If you will take a minute now to write down